In the Adelphos Dunes in the desert, to the southwest, there is a large spire that holds a secret.
Enemy sighted. Are you ready?
If you use your scan function, you'll be able to easily find, on the west side of the spire, a strange platform.
What's going
Approaching
on
the platform will start a cutscene, which will then lead you to a little mini-quest.
What the?
Using the scan function, you can find footprints along the ground, which will lead you to the nearby cave system.
What do we have here?
The tunnel is very straightforward. Once you go inside, it'll split to the left and the right. You can take either direction, and they'll still lead to the end room. They all meet up together.
Oh no!
Once you're in the final room, you'll have to contend with these strays, and once that's done, you'll find a chip that you can access, and it's a note to whoever finds this room from the previous owners of Ugly Envy. Ugly Envy is sitting right in front of the note, free for you to take. To the southeast of this tunnel is another tunnel that you can travel to, and inside of it is a gargoyle that you can break to get a different legendary weapon. Now, there are multiple tunnels throughout the game in all three maps that have breakable gargoyles, but unlike the gargoyles found in dungeons, they're one time only and they won't respawn. Now let's compare Astral Burst to Ugly Envy. One thing to keep in mind when using laser rifles is, unlike physical bullets, laser rifles do not have critical zones. Instead, the closer you are to the target, the more damage you do. There is no critical range, but there is a fade-off range. If you get too far, the laser just disappears. So for this test, I'm going to be doing what I would consider to be about a good average for engagement range for charged laser rifles. As you can see, the Astral Burst does a little over 600 damage for a charged shot at this range. Compare that to the Ugly Envy, which does about 400 damage fully charged at this range. The Astral Burst is considerably more powerful. Now, if you back up and go long range, you'll see that the damage bonus between the two remains relatively the same, with Astral Burst still doing significantly more damage than Ugly Envy. So let's put on limit change to drain our VP and see how much difference it makes for Ugly Envy as our HP goes down. Right off the bat, we can see the damage has increased by about 10%, pretty much immediately. And as our VP continues to drop down, that damage increases. Now it's already over 20%. As HP drops more and more, that damage ramps up to a point where it will eventually match the damage of Astral Burst. Once we reach 30%, we start to see damage in the 600s. And finally, once we hit 10% of our max VP, the damage has increased enough that the damage per shot is indistinguishable from Astral Burst. So what's the point of using Ugly Envy if, best case scenario, it can only match Astral Burst in damage per shot when the weapons are focused around doing high damage per shot? It seems like, in this case, Astral Burst is just a straight-up upgrade to Ugly Envy. Well, that's because of the Femto bonus of Astral Burst. If you drop your Femto below 75%, suddenly that 600 damage per shot drops down pretty significantly. We see that the Ugly Envy is still hitting for 670 damage, whereas Astral Burst has now dropped to 400. Astral Burst is now doing as much damage as Ugly Envy did at full HP. So if we take a look at their stat screens, you'll see that the Ugly Envy's damage bonus for Femto is relatively low, but it maintains that 10% damage bonus as long as you're above 25% Femto, which is very manageable. Whereas the Astral Burst has an exceptionally high 60% damage bonus, while the Femto is above 75%. So with these two weapons, it's less a matter of whether or not one is an upgrade over another, but whether or not you want to use one for early game startup damage to open fights or later game damage to finish fights. If you want to start with big damage at the very beginning of a game, the Astral Burst is going to be the way to go for you because it's going to have its max damage right from the start of battle, whereas the Ugly Envy can only get stronger as the fight goes on. So pick which one you prefer based not on whether it's a legendary or an epic, but whether or not they fit your playstyle and how you want to use these weapons. Depending on your playstyle and how you approach them, one could greatly overpower the other under the right circumstances.